minutes and then I will come back to you. Dr. Nadeem Qazi.
Thank you, Dr. First of all, thank you, Dr. Naeem.
Dr. Pracha Sahab, you want to come and have a seat, and as soon as they are done, okay, thank you. Sorry. Ajay, please. Nadeem Qazi.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Naeem, for explaining why ethics and ingredients, because I felt by your explanation that you are not happy with the work of ethics and ingredients in past, and that's why you have to adult committee. That's the answer I got, which is okay. But the problem here, I'm hearing harassment. Harassment is a criminal case. Whoever is asking or complaining to us, I will recommend you have to follow the law of the land. If you felt harassed, you should report to your local police. Please do it as soon as possible, because that's the law of the land. Beside our constitution or bylaws, we have to follow that. So that's one thing. So please make sure this resolved here in open meeting, because I heard closed door, closed door. This is a democratic organization. We don't do closed door.
Thank you very much. Dr. Imtiaz Arain, Chair of the BOT.
Thank you, Dr. Just a couple of comments before we actually hear from Standing Committee, Ethics and Grievance Committee. Thank you, Conflict Resolution Committee. I have full respect of all the members. Conflict Resolution Committee is an ad hoc committee. So we're all parliamentarian here, all the constitutional experts. Ethics and Grievance Committee report is final on this issue. Conflict Resolution Committee makes a recommendation. Ethics and Grievance Committee is action report. And that way, and then I will disagree with our worthy treasurer that as long as around, Ethics and Grievance Committee has been around. They may be not perfect, but you cannot accuse them for being partisan and being not doing their job. And I will say, you go back and look at the records, lawsuits are going to happen. Everybody gets a lawsuit. That doesn't mean that you're not doing your job.
Thank you, Dr. Arain.
You as a physician, do your job, you still get sued.
Thank you, Dr. Arain.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Nasser Qureshi is recognized.
Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm Dr. Asra Nayab. I am a diagnostic radiology resident at University of Oklahoma. I need to express my gratitude to the organization that is APPNA. I am extremely proud to be a part of this. And when I tell my co-residents who belong to other countries, for example, Middle East or Bangladesh, they look at me in awe that Pakistanis are so organized that they not only have APPNA, but they have APPNA, Dogana, and Khyber, and all the other respected organizations. I hereby request you to set examples for us residents when you're in a panel like this. Have residents as delegates to coach them so that this does not happen 10 years down the lane or maybe 5 years down the lane.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you. Dr. Nasser Qureshi, we got to learn from our residents now. And we have to give them the respect, really, because this is the way we're going to get the young citizens among our ranks. Thank you very much, Dr. Nasser Qureshi.
Just want to express, Mr. President, two of my opinions. With privileges come responsibilities. And I've heard again and again, at convenience, we are an independent organization. If the chapters or the alumni or the alliance and such affiliate organizations are independent organizations, then the question becomes, which alumni is normally asked, Hamari wajah se apna hai. Well, did the chicken come before or egg? No one knows, but no one's independent here. There is actually in the policy manuals a policy which was approved years back by a council just like you, where every chapter has to sign an MOU saying they will follow APPNA's procedures. APPNA's constitution says that all affiliate organizations are supposed to keep in their constitution and bylaws the spirit of the organization. So I am bewildered to hear that as needed, organizations can come up here and say that they are independent and APPNA has no right on it. Then I'm going to ask this question. In APPNA meeting, I would like Alliance and all other independent bodies to please come and pay APPNA, monies to be there, And don't ask for privileges and set times. You get them because you're a part of this organization. And you've got to follow the rules and procedures of this organization.
Thank you very much. Dr. Sohail Siddiqui.
I just want to make an observation. All of you sitting up there and all of us sitting back here, we take time out of our families and our lives to volunteer. It would be nice if we could treat each other nicely.
Thank you very much. Dr. Naseem Shakhani, President-elect.
The only thing I will say is, I'll keep it short. The elections were in last week of October, and Najma has called me to support Yaqub Sheikh. So from last week of October to first week of December, I don't know what happened. And that is the problem with us, that all of a sudden from 26th October to 3rd of December, what happened? And we tried our best. You know, I sucked up to everybody, almost a lot of people. And the question was, there's no resolution. We tried our best, and that's what we came up with. And I don't understand what happened between 26th October and 3rd of December. It's only 5 weeks. What happened? So that's where we are. So we have to think about it. What happened all of a sudden is that we are falling from the sky.
Thank you, Dr. Shakhani, Dr. Mubashir Rana.
As Mia Saab said, solar eclipse happened.
Okay.
So anyway, I
As we
just
say in gastroenterology, shit happens.
Off the record, please, from the minutes. Thank you.
so I just wanted to express a little bit. My concern that we really do need to respect our august bodies. I really feel hurt when we talk badly or detrimental to the BOT or Ethics and Grievance Committee. It really hurts me because these are our august bodies. These are people who want to serve. We can disagree with them, but we should not doubt their intentions or label them. I just wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rana. Dr. Hassan.
Sir, I would like to raise a larger issue. An ethical question was raised, and we have two esteemed committees in our organization with very senior members, and they have a disagreement on ethical issues. Now, obviously, ethical questions are not a variable. Either it's a yes/no question. So if we have two committees with different perceptions on ethics, I think we need to address that also.
Thank you. I will just. No. Yeah, 1 second, Dr. Naeem is going to say something, and I will recognize you after that.
I appreciate Dr. Arai's comment. Esteemed Ethics and Grievance Committee, they are probably doing a great job, but what I'm trying to say is that when we have a complaint in the hospital, he mentioned that you do a great job and you still can have a lawsuit. Yes, absolutely. But when we have a complaint, even from a patient, we actually bend backward to reach out to them, to call them, to send email, to sit with them, talk with them. So these are the remedial processes. I'm not talking about the committee, I'm talking about the process. So there was no comment on the persons, but it was about the process. Thank you.
Dr. Raj Chaudhary.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say this is really a sad day that we have come to this time. It's not fair to the organization. And I think it's really, really sad. You were supposed to, sir, and I'm addressing the president now.
Yeah.
You were supposed to, as a resolution committee, resolve this. Instead, look what you've done.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Chaudhary. But I think it was, let me just answer it because Dr. Pracha is gonna, that I think it is about time that the council gets to know what is happening and take a really a firm stand to follow the constitution and bylaws of this organization. Dr. Omar Atiq, member BOT, and a past president of APPNA.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to applaud you and Dr. Arif Agha for detailed presentation and the democratic process worked well. And I think you all deserve credit for that. Having said that, okay, so I'll come to the real. So
So having said that, I am really saddened to hear what I've just heard. I've been with APPNA for 33 years, and I hadn't seen or heard at least about intimidation of our colleagues, female colleagues specifically. So you have just received an email from me, and I'd also heard the sentiments from before. I'm copied you on an email that I sent to the Board of Trustees chair. I resigned from my position as board member, and I would like this council today to nominate 3 eligible female members from which the board.
Thank you very much. Both Dr. Arif Muslim and Dr. Baraj are very well recognized and very respectful members of the committee. The issue that we have been discussing is the conflict between the 2 members of APPNA. I think we have a much bigger issue because some huge legal words have been used, such as harassment and hunting people down through emails and things like that. So I would strongly recommend to the council to pass a resolution without taking a side of anyone, that APPNA and we as a member openly condemn any kind of harassment so that it protects us. Unfortunately, the culture is going that members and the candidates are suing each other, and I don't want any other lawsuits against us based on to that APPNA did not do anything when the word of harassment was used. Thank you.
We'll get back to you. Before we start the second round of people coming here, I will ask the chair of the Ethics and Grievance Committee to please come and give his report. Dr. Abdul Rashid Paracha, past president and chair of the Ethics and Grievance Committee.
Mr. President, Assalamu alaikum everybody. मेरी तो already बहुत तारीफ हो चुकी है, so I'll be very brief. I think you should be proud that the Ethics and Grievance Committee exists in APPNA. It is such a democratic thing to do that any member of you, whether it's a regular member or a member of the council, can get up and complain even against the president. And the Ethics and Grievance Committee will go and inquire, investigate, and bring it back to the council what their feeling was. So I think you should first applaud yourself that your organization is very, very democratic at this time. So we have a difference of opinion between the 2 committees. We have no ethical difference, as Dr. Hassan said. There is no ethical difference between our Muslim committee and our committee. We have a technical differences, but it's not an ethical issue that he's talking about. How can his committee, which is Arab Muslim, Arif Tu, Shabir Safdar, Shekhani, and Simon Zafar, past president, board of trustees, and then our committee, where Dr. Suleiman, past president, Afzal Arai, who was a secretary of the organization, member of the board of the trustees, Muslim Jami, who was ex-president of the Dow, and Afzal Bangash, who was president of the PPS. So we may have a difference, but there is no ill feeling or any bias. I can swear to you, standing right here, that whatever my committee or what I did with my conscience and with my zamir. I have to reply and I have to answer God for what I do. And I told Najma, it does right there. She asked me that I want insaf. I said, not only to you I obliged to, but also to God, that I have to do when I'm giving an authority to do something. So after this speech, let me bring out how we were approached and what we did. In the end of March, we were approached by the Dr. There are 2 board of trustees by his board of trustees that he has violated the bylaws by appointing CRC in the presence of Ethics and Grievance Committee. They also said that by accepting the recommendation of CRC and ignoring the opinion of the ECT from last year against the bylaws. They also said that before exhausting the internal mechanism of APPNA, they had approached the attorney and also against the Ethics and Grievance Committee bylaws. So with that, our committee had 3-4 teleconferences, and Jennifer can try that every meetings that we had were sent to her. I don't record. I want to tell everybody's talking about recording. I talked to Jennifer. There's no requirement that you have to, because there are certain sensitive matters that you don't want to be recorded. We also, so we had a 3-4 conclusion. First of all, we said that Arab Muslim worked at the request of the president, and the president had every right to appoint an ad hoc committee. So he has not violated any rules as far as APPNA bylaws are concerned. As far as investigation of the election is concerned, we did come to a conclusion that there were certain requirements by bylaws for the election of the Board of Trustees. After the Executive Committee had declared their results, I'm told that they shook hands and were happy and went home. And 2 days later, they made a complaint that showed us the list of the voters that came, because the question came from Dr. Taj and others that there were people who were ineligible and they could not produce the voters list who voted for this. Now, if you remember, we have a history enough now that on the basis of one voter that Zilaf Munir had questioned that he was not a member, and the elections were turned over. So it's a technicality problem that I can't in good conscience say if I become a president and somebody questions, and then 2 days later I cannot produce the list who voted and who did not vote. So on the basis of our committee said that there are irregularities in the selection of the Board of the Trustees and the election of the Executive Committee. As far as the issue of Dr. Ijaz's membership was concerned, we didn't touch that because it was already done and it was outside our domain anyway. I had to send that to the Constitution and Bylaws Committee, so I did not check into it. Dr. Najma had sent me that she was harassed, and I had replied to her email that I would like to have some proof from the social media, from somewhere, because without a proof, I cannot go and investigate till I have that. And I has yet, but our committee strongly condemns any harassment of a female APPNA members in our organization. We stand on that. However, as an investigation, I would like to have some proof so that I can take, Najma has asked me to take an action. I said I would take an action if I have the proof of what harassment has been done. So the only question, we have no problem with Dr. Muslim being the chair of the CRC. According to their complaint, we have no problem with the president appointing an ad hoc committee, but we do have some technical questions about the elections. There was an alliance issue which Dr. Muslim has addressed, so I won't really go into it. I think at this time I would finish my presentation and let the president take it forward.
Thank you, Dr. Pracha. I really would like you to please take a seat here. I am sad and overwhelmed by the situation as the president of APPNA right now. All our intents of every member is really true and sincerity to the organization. And I'm so happy in one regard that the processes are working and the APPNA Council, I've never seen these many people in APPNA Council meeting sitting from 9 o'clock till 1:20 right now. Now we have a situation where ad hoc committee is a privilege of president to appoint. That was already clear. They have a recommendation which was discussed by the EC and EC acted upon it, made a decision with majority and implemented that. After that, it was the issues were sent to the Ethics and Grievance Committee. They just released a report what Dr. Pracha talked about yesterday, I believe. Correct, Dr. Pracha? Which is obviously in contrast to the Conflict Resolution Committee. I would ask help from the council for the sake of our senior members, the committees, and the dignity of this organization to find a solution right now, right here. There was actually a discussion of the record. We have been trying to resolve this and see that where we can meet. And let me suggest to you as the president and really very clear intent for the betterment of the organization. And I will suggest to you, you guys decide whether you want to present it as a motion or not. And if you see anything hanky-panky in my statement, you can say so. What I had suggested to Dr. Pracha yesterday, last night, around 12 o'clock, 12:30, that let's ask both the candidates, applicants, one president, one asking for that, to please stay away. Let's not recognize any one of them right now. And then APPNA should conduct an election in that chapter under APPNA supervision. Within 3 months, the list and everything will be supervised by APPNA, and then everyone will adhere to that decision, and then they can take it from there. I believe rather than getting into discussion what Dr. Pracha found out at his committee and Dr. Arif Muslim and his committee, when baat niklegi to bahut dur tak jayegi, I think there are a lot of things which can be discussed here. Dr. Hassan, please say it.
I want to propose as a council member that Dr. Najma Yad should be allowed to continue for 3 months and then hold election. I disagree. Under APPNA supervision.
Okay. Who's seconding it?
I second it.
No, but it has to be a council member. Who is that? Rizwan Naeem is seconding it. There is a motion on the floor.
I would suggest make it 2 months.
Can we amend the motion? Can we ask Dr. Hassan to amend that, because Dr. Shekhani, the president-elect, is saying 2 months?
I would like to request, I will accept that change, and let's change the motion to 2 months.
Okay. If there is a motion on the floor, anyone wants to discuss it, or should we take a vote? Because this is gonna continue to go really. I personally think that, we are here to resolve the issue rather than to make the issue big. Yes, Dr. Sajid Chaudhary wants to say something?
I think Dr. Iqbal Zafar as a president, she made a very good suggestion. So make it even, neutral, not to make anybody president at this point, and let's have the fair and free election and then go from there. Otherwise, it will be still a dispute. Thank you.
Can I just say, basically what will happen, that we will need someone to take care of the chapter in the middle, for 2 months, and that was the reason, that was the intent. And if anyone has to say anything.
We have events planned for next 3 months.
Is a point of order.
Yes, point of order, Dr. Yaqub. There is a motion on the floor, Dr. Yaqub Sheikh.
I just want to put point of order.
Yes, sir.
This motion is not correct, okay?
No.
You cannot intervene in any independent chapter.
At this time, Dr. Yaqub Sheikh,
This is illegal motion.
Doc-
You cannot pass it.
Dr. Yaqub Sheikh, Dr. Yaqub Sheikh,
This is a illegal motion.
I have the two.
In the state of Texas,
Doc-
we are the board member who
Doc-
can make it.
Dr. Yaqub Sheikh,
You cannot challenge the state, you
Can-
cannot challenge
Doc-
the independent vote.
Dr. Yaqub Sheikh,
You are just intervening in, it is a illegal motion and it cannot be.
are you done with your statement, sir? Thank you. I have two most senior members of APPNA sitting here together, and we are trying to resolve it. I will let Dr. Bracha comment on that. There is a motion on the floor, and see what should we do.
Sir, it is a illegal motion, it cannot be null and void. I'm telling you because it is, the chapter is.
I'm really not a council member, so the only way that I can express my opinion is that like Dr. Sajid Chaudhary said, by listening to all the parties and actually watching the video of the election for that night, I think it is best that nobody, if there is any solution, that there is nobody as a president at this time till the elections are heard. And the council can decide.
Dr. Arif Muslim, you want to say something? Because we are just trying to resolve this thing rather than going forward.
You could do either or, but the problem is that there's $50,000 collected in the name of APPNA, $54,000 collected in the name of APPNA. By chapter, then that chapter is. Again, I hate to disagree with the older guy, but younger in APPNA. I would say that let the present committee continue for 2 months and then, or 3 months, whatever, and then continue.
I want to have a consensus here, really. I agree with Dr. Yaqub Sheikh and everyone. Believe me, we are just trying to make it easier. 1 second.
The money has been collected in the name of APPNA, but the South Texas chapter as an independent 501c themselves.
They were not.
Wish that we had this problem 10 years ago, and we didn't involve the central APPNA. We resolved it.
Let me. Few attempts to get that.
President,
Okay.
point of
And-
order.
Yes, Dr. Nadeem Qadri, please.
The point of order, the motion is on floor, only
The council members.
members can.
Okay, because his party.
That motion is illegal, I put the point of order, that motion also. That motion is illegal.
That
Because
motion
it
is
null and void,
that
it does not have a constitutional point. It does not.
Okay, so basically there is a motion on the floor right now already. Either I'm gonna.
Sir, I'm again telling you that motion is illegal, it's null and void, because it does not entertain the constitutional limits.
Thank you very much. Dr. Yaqub Sheikh, you can take a seat. Thank you very
In
much.
the state of Texas, you cannot intervene.
Dr. Yaqub Sheikh, thank you so very much.
Second of all, the remaining of the amount which was collected, it was basically, Dr. Taj has that amount, okay?
Okay, Dr.
And-
Taj has
and
that account, okay?
Last year, Najma Ejaz did not provide any financial information to executive members, she did not consult it.
Okay.
So we do not have any financial information from her for all expenses which she had made.
Okay, thank you so very much. Okay, now here is, I understand. Once, can you please take a seat so we can have a very civil meeting here? Dr. Mubashir, please take a seat, please. Dr. Yaqub Sheikh, please. Okay, Amin Karim is recognized. I understand that he's not a council member, but this is a issue which is going on. We are doing with the best interest of getting it resolved. Dr. Amin Karim was the chair of BOT when this thing started, I believe. You have 2 minutes.
I apologize to you because I had to speak up. I had to speak up because, and I had to go in front of the line. Very important thing that I was in the heat of it and involved right from the beginning. as the chairman of the board of trustees. What I want to say most important is that it is not only the EC that was the bone of contention in this whole election. If you are going to hold the election, then please clarify that there will also be an election for the board of trustees. Because when this happened, the whole issue was that, I hope you understand, it was the general body of APPNA STC.
That
That came.
Let him finish the report. Dr. Yaqub Sheikh. Dr. Yaqub Sheikh, listen. Dr. Yaqub. Dr. Yaqub, can you? Dr. Yaqub, I would request you.
He told us that
Dr. Yaqub. Dr. Yaqub, please observe the decorum of this council. Dr. Yaqub. Dr. Yaqub. Dr. Yaqub, please have a seat. Please have, listen, guys, I want everyone to take a seat right. Please have a seat, everyone. Okay, please have everyone have a seat, please. Yaqub Sheikh, I would like you to please take your seat. Okay? Thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Amin Karim. Let person say what is going on so every council member knows. Okay? So everyone is allowed to say whatever they have to say on their turn. Thank you.
The general body came in numbers that we had not seen before in our STC. They came to that meeting, they demanded that they did not want to see the status quo. They want to see a change. They believe that every year elections are held, people don't know about it, and then they were not satisfied. So they demand, and they actually targeted me. They said, you should be the first to go. We don't want you. And I'm telling you in front of you, I've not done anything wrong. But they said, we don't want you. Why? Because we want to see a change. So this is what happened subsequently. It's all on record what happened. We had the election. The elections were conducted not in the standard manner of having ballots and counting ballots and all that. Members were asked right on the floor by show of hands or by slips. They gave the slips. All the entire board of trustees, 5 of them, and the 3 executive council members sat there. We compared the list of the existing members from each slip and counted the votes in front of everybody, showed it to everybody, and everybody was happy. We announced the winners. They all accepted it. They shook hands. They embraced each other and they went home. That was the scenario of the meeting. Then, of course, later on, the allegation came that board of trustees should not have been replaced by the general body. At that point, it was general body that took over the whole process and did what they wanted to do. So now, if you are going to make that null and void, overturn it, then please, and I have all respect for everybody, including Yaqub Sheikh, everybody, they're all my friends, we work together. We all see each other's faces every day. So if you can help us, please, start out over,
Thank
have
you.
the election and the board.
Thank you, Dr. Amin Karim. Thank you, Dr. Amin Karim. Before I allow anyone else, as I said, okay, 1 second, please, no clapping. Please observe the decorum. You just saw, the council just saw the EC go in the corner and have a meeting. And the EC has decided that neither Najma Ejaz nor Taj Khan will be the president for now. We will have an election under the supervision of APPNA within 3 months. In these 3 months, the president-elect, Dr. Naseem Shekhani, will be the caretaker for APPNA South Texas chapter. This is, and I will tell you, this is past President Dr. Sajid Chaudhry, President-elect Dr. Naseem Shekhani, Treasurer Lubna Naeem, Secretary Sohail Khan, and President Iqbal Zafar Hamid. We do not want to have our senior members go through the pain, what they had to do it. I'm extremely thankful to everyone to come to this conclusion, and this is what we will implement. The rest of the things we can discuss later. Now, I will ask the parliamentarian to take care of the motion that how we can just You are with, Dr. Mia Hassan is withdrawing the motion, and I would ask everyone. I'm sorry. With, yeah, can I have the seconder, please? Dr. Rizwan name. Okay, thank you, Dr. Rizwan name seconded it. Point of order.
Once the motion is made and seconded, it's the property of the house. So you cannot withdraw the motion, you have to defeat the motion.
Okay, so that motion is taken, but I would still, it is not a voting, but I would still ask the council members to please show their support to what the EC just decided to resolve this issue so that we know that we have it. Please, anyone.
Can we count?
It's not a vote, but it's just an unofficial thing that we have. Okay. Okay.
Now I would like to make it a record.
Yeah.
Please. It's very important. It is very important that we have clear distinction.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I got it. No cross talk. Thank you, Dr. Saida. Thank you. Dr. Naseem Shekhani will take care of that. Okay, thank you. Dr. Harun Durrani, agree. Dr. Mustaq, Dr. Salman, Dr. Amir Jamal, Tayyab Rana, Amir, 19. Any more? Mansoor Alam, Mia Hassan, Rizwan Naeem, Humaira Kamar, and 5 of us. So that's 24.
Four of you.
5 of us. Oh, sorry, don't count me. I'm already.
You cannot be counted.
23, 24, 25, 26. 26 council members.
Dr. Hamid, may I say this?
Please, thank you. 26 council members. 27.
Your count of hand is a show of support. Please, I'm not a council member. Get a motion, get it voted, so nobody can challenge the legitimacy of what you do.
Absolutely, I
Okay,
agree.
thank you. Can you, Sajid, can you please? I will ask the past president to present this motion. Thank you very much, guys.
On behalf of VC, I will make a motion that previous elections of the South Texas chapter would be null and void, and the new elections will be conducted under supervision of our president-elect in next 3 months. He will supervise, election committee, he will supervise within next 3 months.
And the BOT.
Election of the EC and BOT.
Anyone second it?
I second it.
Dr. Sohail Khan is seconding it, and now I will take the vote, yay votes.
Please announce the names as you go around.
Yeah, the same thing, Dr. Salman Malik. Dr. Salman Malik, Dr. Harun Durrani, Dr. Sajid Chaudhary, Dr. Lubna Naeem, Dr. Naseem Shekhani, Dr. Sohail Khan, Dr. Humaira Kamar, Dr. Saeed Zafar, Dr. Naeem, Dr. Mustaq Sheikh, Dr. Amir Jamal, Dr. Tayyab Rana, Dr. Amir, Dr. Kamran Rao, Dr. Aftab Ahmed, Dr. Najma Ijaz, Dr. Dawood Nasir, Dr. Mia Hassan, Dr. Mansoor Alam, Dr. Rizwan Naeem,
Sohail.
Dr. Sohail Siddiqui, Dr. Sajad Saeed, Dr. Zahid Rafiq.
What's the count?
25.
Is it 25?
Any nay? Anyone opposing this motion? None of them. It's a unanimous decision by the council to do this way. Thank you so very much. I will just continue. This is very important, guys. Please take your seats. This issue is resolved. Before there are a couple of very sticky issues today. But before I go forward, we were talked about the harassment and anti-harassment. There is a code of conduct for APPNA members which was prepared by our cable, and we also had taken the help from our council, which says that APPNA is committed to providing membership experience in which individuals are treated with courtesy, respect, and dignity. Professional and moral behavior is expected at all times. APPNA members are required to follow the bylaws and all other policies that are adopted by the association from time to time. APPNA will not condone or permit any action by any member that is disruptive, contrary to APPNA's published policies, or constitutes harassment. Harassment includes but is not limited to disparaging, threatening, intimidating, or hostile acts, or published words, epithets, slurs, or negative stereotyping, or publication of any written materials that denigrates or shows hostility or aversion toward an individual or a group, or making unwelcome sexual advances or comments. APPNA bylaws prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion, gender, race, or ethnic origin. A member may bring written complaints on any of the above matters against another member or a group with evidence within 60 days of the incident. Complaint must be filed directly with the Ethics and Grievance Committee with a copy to the President. The Ethics and Grievance Committee shall render a written decision within 30 days of the filing. The EGC decision may be appealed to BOT, which will render binding decision within 30 days of the appeal. APPNA may discipline a member if found guilty by warning, fines from $1,000 to $5,000, and or, guys, can you please, can I have your attention? This is one of the most serious matter. 5,000 or suspension of some or all privileges from 1 to 5 years, and refer the matter to law enforcement. If necessary, no member will be retaliated against for good faith reporting of such misconduct. Now, this code of conduct, once approved by the council as a policy today, should be circulated to all existing APPNA members via email for notification. It must be placed on all APPNA membership application forms, paper or electronic, for all new members. Constitution and Bylaws Committees, led by Arif Agha, Mahmood Alam, Mia Hassan, Nasar Qureshi, Mubashir Rana, Hassan Rashid, and Sama Zafar. I will ask someone to make a motion to approve this code of conduct for APPNA members.
I make motion.
Okay, Dr. Sunil Khan.
Second, Mushtaq.
Dr. Mushtaq Sheikh is secondary.
Yes.
Is there any discussion, or we'll just take a vote, because this is so clear. Can I have a vote on that? All yay. Okay, everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Any nays? Ladies and gentlemen, in APPNA's history, the code of conduct for members is passed today. Thank you so very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
They're here. They're both here. Yeah, they've been sitting here for an hour. Yeah.
Okay, before we, sorry, Dr. Nasar Qureshi.
As the APPNA council is here,
yeah,
we have a statement of harassment on the floor. I would like to know if we need to, as an organization, other than the code of conduct for this particular one, need to do something or not for, or it resolve.
That needs to go to the Ethics and Grievance Committee, because I'm not gonna, obviously, this is not a court session going on. Thank you very much, everyone. Jabin, your situation with the alliance thing, let you guys discuss it up there, because, okay, hold on 1 second, guys.
No, I understand completely. Just
Okay.
very quick, very positive.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to make it very, very clear that we don't think that Alliance is an independent organization. Alliance come under the umbrella of APPNA. We know very well, and we are thankful to that, and that's why we don't have any access to accounts. And now President here of Alliance, and we are very much looking forward to talk with you, with her. And inshallah, it will be resolved, and congratulations for your leadership. You are a great leader. I mean, I witnessed the whole thing, and I really want to congratulate
Thank you so very much for your kind words. For kind words, we will talk about it and take care of the issues. Thank you so very much. Saeed, you have a comment?
I just have one comment and a suggestion. The meeting, Dr. Iqbal, you have conducted very well. You have tried to resolve the issues. Some were beyond the scope of the executive committee, but you have done your best. I have two suggestions. One is, I don't see any young people in this crowd. We have to think and have a time allotted for engage young people. Number two, we have to have a council here or a legal person who can tell you what is the definition of the thing.
Thank you. I got them right now. I just want you the last one before I
Just a matter of clarification. The law of the country says that a woman or a man who has been accused can file a lawsuit for 9 years. You can make a complaint up to 9 years. So 30 days doesn't.
I hope we never have to go that way unless we try to resolve it within the organization.
Right, no, that
Thank
is
you.
true.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Our dear council members, you have really performed so well and taken care of so many things today. I cannot be prouder than today. Today we have APPNA Council, Rebecca Oborski, and our APPNA litigation lawyer, Kevin. The reason I did not want to give any report to the council personally on any litigation going on, because it could be not the best, it may not be the best thing to do. I had asked APPNA Council and Kevin to come here and can give you the report themselves, which is public knowledge and nothing more, so that nothing has an effect on the litigation going on. Rebecca? And you will have the opportunity to ask questions. They will answer whatever they can. So please, Rebecca has few minutes.
That works too.
Thank you. And again, as corporate counsel, I'm very interested in the conversations that we just had, and also very impressed with your democratic process. Because we are in active litigation, though, Kevin McQuillan, who has been serving as APPNA litigation counsel for since the beginning of the recent lawsuits, is going to give the update so that he will be more sensitive to the issues that could be problematic. So, Kevin McQuillan.
Good afternoon. Before I begin, there is ongoing litigation against APPNA and several of the APPNA members. So I would caution anyone, if there are any comments, be very careful in your comments because things are being recorded and this is a public forum. I'm going to report on the matters that are public record as to what's going on. To begin with, in the fall of 2016, there were some questions about the election. There was a notice given by letter to APPNA about some potential claims that then by about a week later were withdrawn. In December of 2016, a lawsuit was filed against APPNA in the Circuit Court of Cook County, where you are right now, requesting what's called discovery, that they wanted further information on alleged defamatory statements made during the election. Later that same month, another lawsuit was filed against APPNA to try and void the 2016 for 2017 election. And there was an emergency motion done to try and stop any of the newly elected EC members from taking their positions in 2017. That motion was denied. So we had two lawsuits going on at one time. I was able to get, wasn't just me, working with Rebecca and Jennifer Wozniak Watson, who's also an attorney, was able to get the discovery lawsuit dismissed in May of 2017. Around the same time, the other lawsuit, which was still continuing on to have the election held to be void and to have a new election, was transferred at my request from Cook County out to DuPage County, which is the next contiguous suburb, but that is where APPNA has its headquarters and also where its registered agent is located. So at that time, we're down to lawsuit number 2. That lawsuit is going on. I filed a motion to dismiss that. In September of 2017, lawsuit number 3 was filed against APPNA and several APPNA members with allegations that there had been defamation during the 2016 election process. I defended APPNA in that lawsuit. The individual members all had to obtain their own attorneys to defend them because there were different allegations against APPNA and each of the individual defendants. In October of 2017, I was able to get lawsuit number 2 dismissed. And the basis for that dismissal was that if someone wants to contest something that occurs in an APPNA election, you have a election code of conduct and process to do that. And it was the judge's opinion that process was not followed, so that lawsuit was dismissed. So lawsuit number 3 continued on. In March of this year, the judge struck that lawsuit, essentially saying there were not adequate allegations to maintain a lawsuit, gave the plaintiff an opportunity to amend by early April. The plaintiff then filed a motion for an extension of time to amend the complaint. That time to file an amended complaint is May 18th, with a status hearing in front of the judge on May 22nd. APPNA and a number of the other defendants have motions pending that the judge put over to see if there is going to be a new lawsuit, an amended lawsuit or not. In the meantime, lawsuit number 4 got filed. This is by Navigators Insurance, who is the directors and officers coverage for APPNA. APPNA made a demand late last year to Navigators to defend and indemnify in the defamation lawsuit, lawsuit number 3. Navigators denied that. For tactical reasons, we were waiting to see if we could get lawsuit number 3 resolved before we went back to Navigators. Navigators, though, has now filed that lawsuit. So right now we have lawsuits 3 and 4 pending. I've just entered into an agreement with Navigators that, if acceptable to the federal court judge here in Chicago, where lawsuit number 4 was filed, that we put over formal matters in that lawsuit to determine if we could have an amicable resolution between the insurance company and all the named defendants in lawsuit number 3. That hearing is up on Monday. I'll be down the street on Monday, and hopefully the judge will agree that it makes more sense than, instead of spending more money on litigation, that if the parties are amenable to discussions, that we have those discussions. So that's where we stand right now. I will know on May 18th is, first of all, whether or not the plaintiff files an amended complaint. If they don't file an amended complaint, then obviously I would move the court to dismiss that lawsuit with prejudice. If they do file an amended complaint, then there will be another round of motions and determinations on that. But I don't want to get ahead of anything because I can't, as much as I would like to, I can't predict the future. So that's where the litigation stands right now that I'm handling for the organization. I want to thank the organization, their staff, the EC for the support that I've been given and their responsiveness over the last couple years. I know they haven't enjoyed it, but I've enjoyed having their cooperation and their feedback and everything. And so that's where we stand on the litigation right now.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Rebecca. These were the updates, and I wanted the council members to hear directly from our lawyer and counsel. You can have a question, but obviously they will answer if they can answer. So please make a line and quickly because we have other things. Dr. Nasser Qureshi is recognized.
Thanks so much, Mr. Kevin, Rebecca, for all your efforts for the organization. I simply have a question about the processes that were followed last year. At some point, I understand that the Illinois law actually says that an organization should indemnify its officers. But a decision was made of all the people who were in lawsuit number 3 not to indemnify them and let them go independently, and the organization should not defend them. That was sitting officers who took all the decisions on the directive of the council, did not make any decisions on themselves. And maybe Rebecca can enlighten us on that, or Kevin yourself, whoever was involved. What was the process and the thinking about that decision? Because what we heard was it was under the guidance of the lawyers. May or may not be true.
Unfortunately, I can only talk about that in a limited sense as to what went on. There is a statute in Illinois that deals with indemnity for certain officers and directors of a nonprofit organization in certain situations. Because we had the situation, let me back up a second. It wasn't the lawyer's decision. Lawyers can only give advice and recommendations. So the EC of your organization or whoever is controlling the organization makes those decisions. I can tell you that given the situation with the amended complaint pending, those decisions may become easier to make in a couple weeks. They may become more difficult to make. So that's all I can say about that.
Thank you. Dr. Sohail Siddiqui?
I don't know how much you can disclose, but is the plaintiff the same in all 4 lawsuits, or are there different plaintiffs? And if you can name the plaintiff, or you can't?
I can, it's public record.
Okay.
So the first 3 lawsuits were filed by Dr. Shahid Rashid. The 4th lawsuit was filed by Navigators Insurance, which is a normal procedure. It's called a declaratory judgment action. Navigators wants a declaration from the court as to whether or not they have to provide insurance coverage for APPNA and the individual defendants in the last lawsuit.
Thank you. Dr. Kabran Rao?
Thank you so much, sir, for the update because it's very important for the organization. We get money by asking, requesting like pennies and dollars from the members. So we want to know how much money APPNA has paid in fees for this litigation as an organization. At the same time, we want to know, if possible, the individual members, those are probably paying out of their own pockets, but still we want to know how much they have paid, because technically they are also paying because they are at this position and they're serving the organization. Thank you.
I cannot discuss legal fees. I'm sorry, I apologize on that.
For the record, yes, last year it was presented by the council, correct? 70,000 or so. 76,000 was spent in 2017 from APPNA, just to defend APPNA. This year, obviously, the numbers are racking up. Probably I will be able to give you a better picture in summer meeting. Thank you. Dr. Riyaz Chaudhary.
That's just APPNA.
Just APPNA, not the individual, just APPNA. Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Naeem can, the treasurer can probably.
It is a little above $100,000 is APPNA and more than $300,000 from probably,
This year.
Altogether. This year, yes.
Dr. Riyaz Chaudhary.
Thank you, sir. So, are you the attorneys for both sides, the plaintiffs and APPNA?
No.
APPNA has their own attorney, some of the plaintiffs have their own attorneys?
Yes, so here's how it works.
So how do you separate it? That's my question.
Absolutely. Rebecca's your corporate counsel. She represents APPNA for all purposes. When it comes to trial work, I've been retained by APPNA to defend APPNA. And that's who I've defended for the last year and a half. To the extent that I can work with the attorneys for the other parties in order to save money, I have been tasked and I've been given the approval to take the lead as the leader for all defense counsel. And so that's the hope, to try and be able to handle it more that way. So there's one set of attorney fees going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Shazad Saeed.
Actually, my question is not to the attorney. My question and statement is my statement and question is to all the people sitting here. This is my second council meeting that I'm attending. First one was 2009 in San Francisco, where I saw the fiasco from the podium with someone and all that stuff. It cured me for attending a council meeting for 10 years almost. I'm here again, most likely the last time. And then we talk and ask each other, what's the future of APPNA? Why the younger generation is not getting involved? Why is all this happening? We're spending $300,000 of all our money, which should be going towards social welfare, academic activities, research, encouraging young people. And here we are spending this money for egos. Why do you all want to run for presidency? Why do you all want to run for all of this? I'm an academic, I still cannot understand.
Thank you, Dr. Saeed. Dr. Rizwan Naeem. Dr. Rizwan Naeem is back.
So my question is, you named one defendant, can you name other defendants in these lawsuits?
Well, APPNA is a defendant.
Yes, in addition to APPNA.
It's public record. Hold on just a minute, let me get the list here. So the other individual defendants, and my apologies if I don't say your name quite right. We have, the names in Northern Ireland are a little different, so my apologies in advance. They are Dr. Hamid, Mansour Alam, Akhtar Hamidi, Jamil Azam Faruqi, Nadeem Kazi,
Okay, you're all set. I got you.
Muhammad
Thank
Sohail Khan, and Mohammed Nassar Qureshi. Yes, sir. Again, my apologies.
Thank you. Dr. Mubashir Rana, please.
And, yeah, congratulations to all these individuals. So, I sort of wanted to echo Dr. Shahzad Saeed that, we are spending all these funds. What for? I mean, this could be going really for some good cause. But I do want to differ with him that that's not a reason to disconnect yourself from APPNA. That's actually, to me, is a reason to be more involved and actually champion causes that will prevent these kinds of lawsuits in the future. We need to be looking ahead and not blaming the organization. I think we have enough sets of rules in the organization that we can correct it by ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rana. Dr. Aftab Ahmed. We need to finish this quickly. Dr. Aftab Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you. My question to the executive committee and of course Kevin too. Yeah, my question to the EC, that while this lawsuit is going on and the defendant can be a candidate again, plaintiff, yeah. So the EC can answer that question. And then my second question is already answered, we already named the defendants. Thank you.
I will ask the cable, but there is nothing in our bylaws that, right, that prohibit anyone taking part in the election with or without litigation. Thank you, Dr. Price.
Sorry, Kevin, I'm taking your time. Shazad, are you still there? Shazad, so since the lawsuit, let me clarify from the names taken. 3 were sitting officers of the organization who acted on the advice of this council and followed every procedure. On the determination of a single person, it was decided that the organization will not defend these sitting officers. That set aside, since that day, I came to the last council meeting and decided when I was a part of the CC to sit down there, and very senior members told me to go there. And my answer was, if I'm not worth for this organization, after giving 20 years of my life to defend working for this organization, I am not worth going to that podium. However, I've questioned myself again and again. Why am I coming back here? And you know what, Shazad, why? Because I believe in this organization, where people have stood here and said that we run for this organization or for the post because of self-glorification. We don't get it. This is the only organization of Pakistani descent which gives hope for this organization and for our community to further itself.
Thank you very much, Dr. Qureshi.
I will keep coming back. I will keep coming back, and so should you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nadeem Qazi. Dr. Farooqi is the last person. Thank you.
The problem is, we have both lawyers here. Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
And we discussed this before. For me personally, I was sued, as they just named me, for $5 million, and there is no name mentioned anywhere in my report as a chair, and you asked me to become chair again for this committee. I have to call my lawyer and pay him fees to get that advice whether I can or I cannot. He said you should do anything and everything according to your bylaws and your rules and regulations. Don't get harassed. I felt harassment here. The gentleman met me last night. He said, you recommend to report to the FBI. Let me remind everyone, we have to follow law of this land. If somebody crossing the state line, both lawyers are sitting here, they can tell you it's a federal crime. We did not mention anybody's name. We just say whoever did it, APPNA has to inform FBI, because otherwise FBI will come to us. Why did you inform us when you have this issue in your committee meetings? So that's the only reason I was sued. We still don't know who did it. It's a harassment case, and I will request lawyers to give us a point. I'm paying for my own self. Luckily, I have my umbrella insurance, so it doesn't matter to me, but my other colleagues, they are paying from their own pockets to volunteer in this organization, to do their job. So where are we standing? And I will bring my report and we will discuss.
Thank you, Dr. Naeem. Thank you, Dr. Farooqi is the last person.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me the chance to just say a few words here. And thanks for the attorneys for giving the report. The 2016, I was asked by the president then to act as a chair of nomination election committee and run the elections. And I was given a committee to work with, and there were several members of the committee. All decisions were made by the committee members unanimously. The minutes are there, and the decisions made, I'm not going to go into those details, but it was done as an organization. My question to Dr. Mubashir Qazi here, just give me 1 minute, please. Dr. Mubashir Qazi, no, not Qazi, Dr. Mubashir, who just said that, and I really praise you, Mubashir, for your work which you are doing, but you just mentioned that to Shehzad that this is the reason to come and champion. What champion? You are working for the organization, and what organization is in turn giving you. That the EC then and the person sitting there said that organization cannot defend their officers. The organization is doing. So how anyone from all of these people keep on coming and serving the organization when organizations say that they cannot defend them? How it is possible? How can you ask your members? Do you have a guts to ask your members to come and work for the organization when organization is not there to help them if they
Dr.
need it?
Faruqi, that is it. Okay, I will ask Rebecca or Kevin to respond, and we're gonna finish this.
Let me make a brief response to that. There has not been a final decision to indemnify and defend. That can be made both before, during, or after. So my understanding is that based on, I have to report back what the facts are and everything that's going on. So the issue of indemnity repayment to certain people, if they're in certain capacities and everything of that nature, that final decision has not been made. So.
Thank you, Kevin. Dr.
Can I have
Suresh,
a-
the last person, please. We're gonna finish it now because we have.
Thank you, and I'm one of the defendants.
You have any question?
Yes. To both of you, and I have the same sentiments. I do not have very deep pockets. I work for the government. I volunteer my time for this organization. Maximum amount that I can. And for years and years, and my own organization is not helping me, so I have to get a lawyer and pay him $350 an hour, and I am bearing that cost. It is very, very unfortunate that we are to this point. And in particular, question to both of you, what is the process that APPNA would have followed to find out this irregularity, who did this? Even to date, we don't know who did whatever happened. You know, there was an irregularity that happened. What is the process? Could you shed some light on it?
No, not at this time. I can tell you that the issue that was raised by the balloting company has been investigated. But because we don't want to spend money needlessly, if the third lawsuit is dismissed, that issue goes away. Otherwise, that would be an expensive issue to investigate that all the way through.
Thank you. Dr. Sajid Chaudhary.
Just quickly, I would like to clarify, I heard the sentiments from the different members. As Kevin mentioned, it's not the APPNA's officer who are not indemnified. It's APPNA did not have the money to spend on that. You heard that we spent $76,000 just to defend APPNA, and the other people they had, I heard that about $300,000. We contacted, as Kevin mentioned, APPNA's insurance policy. What's the name called? Navigator. So if they are covered, they cover APPNA under that umbrella policy, they will be covered, and that will be decided at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chaudhary. Kevin, quick question because we have a lot of business groups.
Right.
I'm
one of the defendants actually. I was the council member at the time. I did not expect APPNA to defend me. However, I did send an email to Dr. Sajid Chaudhary as the president. Unfortunately, the response was not positive. I was not said that we didn't have the money. I was just told that I cannot be covered, so as the other members. So I'm just making a comment on Dr. Sajid.
Okay, let's keep that discussion for some other day. Thank you very much. Kevin, thank you very much. Rebecca, this way you guys heard from the lawyers themselves what they could tell you and what they could not. Thank you so very much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, let's main business now. Lubna name that tragic. quite a bit of stuff. I want to get a picture. Dr. Lubna, your financial. Thank you.
Is the clicker up there?
Patients, I'm not treasurer, a treasurer report.
Clicker is up there.
Yeah, so right forward,
Right
left
advances.
back.
Thank you. It is a chair, co-chair, advisor, and a member. Our co-chair is Dr. Zafar Iqbal, Dr. Khabar Ismail, and the members are Dr. Maimouna Sheikh, Dr. Muhammad Aslam, Dr. Ghulam Mushtaba, Dr. Sayyid Ali Gardezi, Dr. Rizwan Akhtar, Dr. Aftab Khan, Dr. Samina Khatak, and Dr. Hasina Javed. I'm very thankful to our advisors and our team members, and especially who have been, bearing with me endless hours, figuring it out, and trying to kind of streamline and iron the reports.
President-elect has the floor, just to let you know.
Because IZ left.
What is the committee's role? The Finance Committee is a financial organization, such as budgeting, financial planning, reporting, and accountability policies. It has to follow the Financial Accounting Standards Board best practice guidelines for nonprofit organizations. Not just to keep the compliance to make APPNA a role model, internal audit in a timely fashion. The Asset Management Committee, a current investment, and recommend important changes in the portfolio for the betterment of our finances. My report is comprising of these 6 elements: keeping it transparent, revenue and expense report, budget, where we are at and where the future might hold, what's in it for the physician, the valued benefit to the members, asset management committee report, that will be our final report. When we went out there and asked for votes, one thing that I had, promised that I will follow the principle of keeping it transparent. And benefit of trust comes with the promises kept. The audit was long awaited, so I am very happy to tell you that long awaited audit is completed. APPNA is fully caught up in all tax and audit filings for both APPNA and APPNA Foundation. The next filing and the audit are due in November 2018, so we are current. We went to the executive committee, and the other thing that we promised was access to information to our members. And we met and we approved that the summary of the audit be available at the APPNA's website. It's a 26-page report, and the detailed report be available on request. So this has not happened before, so I'm very happy to let you guys know that we are moving towards transparency, effective communication, and access to information. The audit was conducted by a third party and was conducted in accordance with the auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America, and 26th report is available on request. So this is, in a nutshell, you can say summary or the opinion of the audit, and I'm going to just kind of read it out to you. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects, the financial position of Association of Pakistani Physicians of North American Descent and APPNA Foundation as of December 31st, 2016, and the changes there in their net assets and their cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the accounting principle generally accepted in the United States of America. So we have 3 classes just for the council who are new. Most of us who have already been coming here. We have 3 classes of funds, unrestricted, temporarily restricted based on contingency, And then we have permanently restricted or funds or net assets. Unrestricted funds, pretty much, they are the funds that are available for the operational cost, and they come from the meeting revenues, and they pretty much cover the central office operational expenses, which are wages, repair and maintenance, and telephone, equipment lease, office supplies, conduit use, and then annual membership is also one of the unrestricted funds. And the one of the contingency, this is based on pretty much, the project that you're doing, Chilmi, Kadram, then NBLT, LMG, scholarship, merit, national healthcare, food pantry, clinic, mobile clinics, healthcare initiatives, and New York House. And these are the restricted funds. Pretty much it's the CME revenue, merit, scholarship funds, the endowments, and then we have restricted assets. These are lifetime dues, APPNA endowment fund, and the alumni scholarship. And most of the stakeholders are the King Edward Medical University and Nishtar Medical College. And these are the alumni, Jinasen Medical University, Qaidazan Medical College, Rawalpindi Medical College, Fatma Jinnah, Khyber, and Bolan Medical College. This is I just wanted to make it kind of simple because I get confused with a whole bunch of numbers. So it's easier for me to figure out if I have a graph or if I have a pie chart. So do we have a pointer?
Yeah, the top button. All the way in the top.
Yep. This one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a pie chart for the income source. This seems like, the meeting cash here is $507,353. This is for 2017 income tax. This is a very scary graph. And I would just like you to figure out why this graph is so scary. You can see that more than 2/3 of our income source is meeting gains. And if you see this number here, membership dues, it is less than even 1/5. So what does that tell you? That we start from January, we start thinking about 6 meetings, 3 domestic, 3 international, and we just like running like a hamster wheel, and you're just trying to figure out how to make our expenses. And where are the members? What about the membership dues? Which direction are we going to? So this pie graph, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of my presentation. I'll go with the numbers and everything, but I really want you to understand this pie graph. This is very simple. Our income source is meetings. Less than 1/5 is our membership dues. These are expenses. And most of the expenses that from the meeting gains, they are there to cover the central office expense. This is $259,852. And then we have the other IT, and then, look at the legal expense. This is growing enormously. Here it says like 64, but it's over $100,000. All this money that we are doing this exhaustive exercise of 6 meetings to cover for this really does not make any sense. And the total number you can see is, I cannot see the number here. It is probably $482,000, and we have $633,000 in income revenue, which is mostly meeting gains. And then all these expenses, we're not even talking about projects here. Projects are pretty much self-sufficient. They do most of the good projects, they do their own fundraising. So this is a very scary situation, that all this exhaustive exercise, and we are able to save pretty much $130,000. Now, $130,000, if you all are associated with many other organizations, in 2 or 3 private dinners, you are able to, make up for whatever project that you're working for. You were able to raise $130,000 in 2 or 3 private family dinners. We have done that. So all this exhausted exercise and $130,000, so we need to think about a direction. And these are the general funds. The clinic projects is $33,000, and then Hurricane Harvey, food pantry, and Katra Fund. This is last year's general fund projects. And social welfare disaster relief projects. This is a restricted kind of fund, which means that they have their own funds. It's nothing to do with the meeting gains in case, but they are pretty good in raising their own funds. So most of their money goes to the cornea project. And last year it went to Mayo Hospital, Zakat Fund, and the dialysis machine. So, but the mainstay of social welfare disaster relief projects are the cornea projects here. These are the investment balances. These are assets. Lifetime is 2.6 million. Scholarship is 2.4. CME, these are restricted funds. And again, I really want you to pay attention to this slide here. This is a very, concerning slide where you can see the lifetime membership 2015, 2016, and 2017. It raised like $100 and some thousand. It dropped very fast to almost like 50,000. Then it was 105,000 back again. But it's just not growing. The membership dues are just not growing. It's pretty static. These are the annual membership from 100,000 back to 50,000, and it's pretty static. Similarly here, these are the lifetime. You can see lifetime are 56, and then 27, and then 57 annual members. They were in 2015. Somebody was kind enough to make a whole bunch of members. 1,000 and some members, and then it dropped to 786 and 781. We're not even having renewals, increased trends in the renew. I want you to see these trends. Again, the meeting profits, you can see 2015, 206. We did pretty good here, 433,000 in 2016, and 584,000 in 2017. And international trips, they are pretty much, the same old. The restricted balance, how well did we do? In year 2015, it was pretty good. Somebody, donated a whole bunch of money in the scholarship funds. It was close to 600,000, and then it dropped, and it's pretty much, going. There's not too much excitement going on there.
Oh yeah.
So I would like to, this is, if you can just quickly, it's not fair for you to understand all these numbers. That's why I just went with those graphs first. These are the proposed revised budget for 2018. I will just go to the main slide. The budget has been pretty much, the expenses are the same old, but what I'm going to present the slide is this year, the budget, the things that we need, and we need the approval for those items. Among the expense, although our meeting games are, we are saving $130,000 despite of really great successful last year. That's how much money we saved, but we still need more staff. And from last year, wage expense from 226, we pretty much need another $100,000 to run our operational cost. Especially, we need a project fundraiser, and we need this is a professional organization, and we need professional people to do those jobs. So it is all legitimate. Now, the one in red, because there's so many numbers here, so I just want you to kind of pay attention to the ones in red. You can see the legal expenses here. And it's 100,000. We'll be needing 100,000 because this is how much expense we are anticipating. It may be more. This is just the lower limit that we're talking about. So we're going to be needing approval of 100,000 here. And then we have healthcare clinics, 50,000 here. Mobile health clinic, 100,000. And APPNA University, we're going to talk about it later. This is a tangible project that we want to start. And this is going to be something that APPNA will be remembered by the future generations to come. So just to kind of start up is gonna be like $100,000, so which is just right here. And then we have never done grant writing, we need a grant writer, and 25,000 for grant writer. And then we have $50,000 for, what's that? Okay, scholarship. And then media and communication, another 50,000, because this day and age is all about media and communication. If you're not investing in media, social media, other media, electronic or print media, we're gonna be way behind. Nobody's gonna know about, what we are doing. And then is $25,000 for Global Summit, which is gonna happen, and it's a huge endeavor, and we do need some funds for that. So these are the main items that this year we need a little bit more money. So 50,000 for office expense, APPNA house, which is pretty much always in law, so we need $35,000 approval for that. $100,000 for indemnification fee. You already heard, what the attorney was saying. So everybody's scared to make any good decisions here. So we need help, legal help. Indemnification fee, legal and professional help, $100,000. APPNA University, mobile clinics, health, the other health clinics, which are, the ground health clinics, advocacy committee, 50,000, grant writing, then it's APPNA winter meeting, and the scholarship and media and communication, 50,000. The bottom line is we are growing, and this is the necessity. But the problem is our income source. So this is in tables, the revenues that we talked about, the meeting gains and, election fee and whatnot that I already showed you in the graph. This is in the numbers. Here it says actual 840, but please, this is not an actual figure. This is what we have claimed so far, but it's minus we have not included the expenses. So everything is going to be clear pretty much, by the end of the year. Again, this is the expense report here, what I showed you in the pie form. And this is some comparison from the previous years. Too many, graph. I have already showed all of this in the graph forms. And these are the house payments, APPNA house payments. You don't have to, it's every month. So it's kind of quite detailed. So the current model, so at this point, we talked about the budget. We already talked, I explained to you the necessity of all the money that we need to run this organization professionally. I would like to make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Anyone second it? No. Oh, you have a question? Sorry. Dr. Mubashir Rana, Dr. Nadeem Qazi.
Thank you very much, Lumna, for this report. I saw the wish list. That's what I call it.
Correct.
It's not a budget. How you will propose, you will get all this wish list to be fulfilled this year. That is what budget means. We need a budget from this committee before we approve anything, not just the wish list.
Oh. Can I answer that, please? Thank you, Dr. Lumna. Obviously, our wish list, which you said, is there. If we are able to raise these funds, we will continue to complete our projects. If not, then we will stop there. Thank you. Dr. Kamaran Rao.
So there are two things. First of all, thank you, Lumna, for this very comprehensive presentation. So as you can see, as an example, advocacy budget, you wrote 15,000. We have done a great day on the everything, and total expenses less than 15,000, 1.5. So we have to cut down budget. Second thing is this, as someone asked earlier, and people ask all the time, why there are so many fights for being president, and then there's a talk that there are perks. So my open question is, in this expense, is there any expense of president or executive committee or any chair where the travel, or there is also why international trips are free for president or chairs, and I'm just telling you very bluntly because I love this organization.
It's a very good question, but I'm not aware of that.
Let me answer you very openly and categorically and on the record. I've been an officer in this organization for 4 years. I've never seen a penny being spent from APPNA's account on any of the officer or chair of this organization. Thank you. One second. Dr. Rana has the podium. Please, Dr. Qasim. Please, thank you. Dr. Rana.
Yeah, we all spend from our own pockets as volunteers. And lose from our practice as well. Well said.
Thank you, Dr. Chaudhary.
Okay, so I have several questions. Number one, I was wondering, the 2017 audit, why wasn't it completed in 2017? Number one. Number two, why about the foundation? Is APPNA Foundation paying for its own audit, or are those funds coming from our operational expenses? APPNA. Third, if we can please go back to your wish list, as Nadeem very appropriately said, you really not presented a budget. I must say, although the presentation is actually excellent, and I really appreciate you doing all this hard work, but it doesn't really tell you how much are you projecting the revenues for this year, and what it will be the gap where you can offset these expenses. So we really need to see that slide so we know what is projected. So that is very important.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rana.
And the last thing I have to point out that I'm not sure why we're going to be spending $50,000 on advocacy. I don't know. Maybe there is something that you know that I don't.
Thank you, Dr. Rana. You want me to answer? First, the 2017 audit could only be completed in 2018. That's number one. It always takes the next year. The second thing, as you said, the wish list. As we go further in the year, we see that what kind of a sponsorship and what kind of other things we can get. As I told you, that if we get that money from our membership, from raising the funds, sponsorship, vendors, whatever, then we'll complete by priority. We will see that. And the last question was $50,000 advocacy. Obviously, this was the average we have taken for the last 5-10 years that they have been spending. I've seen $70,000 spent, and I've seen $15,000 spent. So we kept the money. We are trying to keep it to the minimum. And as Dr. Rao said, we have only spent $15,000 so far. So we'll keep it to the minimum. Thank you. I said 2017 audit, they have to have the full financial year of 2017 ready. Or 2016, because of some tax return was not able to be filed. That's the reason it was completed.
No. I'll have Dr. Sajid Chaudhary answer that question.
Well,
I'll answer it. I can answer
let
it.
me give it to the director of operations so she can answer that question.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Yeah, let's get it done.
It's okay.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so yeah, Jennifer Watson for the record. So yes, Dr. Rana, you I think misspoke. You said the 17 audit that would be filed this year. It is due in November. We are on track. Just wanted to say we are on track with that. The field operation dates have already been set by the new company. We're in a 3-year contract with this company. We're having extreme success with them. So that's something we should all be happy with and proud of. The question would be the 16 audit, while it wasn't filed on time. That was because we were working with a prior audit company who refused to file it because of the way that they saw some of the documents, and they kept coming back to us with certain questions of how we are running the organization, and we had to go out and reach for lawyers that deal with taxes. So we had to contract with them, and the lawyers sided with us. So we ended up that prior company that we were working with, after everything was said and done, they ended their relationship with us. So it was pretty inappropriate in terms of business dealings. But all we could do was find another company, which we did. Everything got filed. We are not in arrears. We have paid everything that has been needed to be paid. And like I said, this new company, who by the way is only 1 mile down from our offices, are already set up to do the current filing. So everything is filed completely, absolutely to date. And your other question about foundation, Dr. Rana, The foundation pays for their own filings for taxes and audit. APPNA does not pay for that. The foundation is completely separate bank account, separate billings.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Further to elaborate on what Jennifer mentioned, I was the treasurer, so I feel, let me give you a little information. The company, their concern was that the amount of money that we raised from booths and from meetings is taxable income. And that was a big sticking point with them, while as once we researched it and looked into it.
You mean it's state tax?
State tax.
Right.
And they were of the opinion that we are not going to audit until unless we put it as incomes derived from all of that. So that is something that you all need to know, because it may come back in one shape or form again. And that relates to our total income. When you put it together, we have a smaller amount of charitable projects if we look at it, the overall picture. And majority of our incomes that we drive are from these meetings and events. And that is important that we need to strategize upon this for future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. Dr. Haran, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, APPNA, for a nice presentation. Of course, numbers confuse everyone. Now, the question is, for your budget, you need to have a budget and you need to have a line item, every item that has been expensed in the past, your budget and what you're trying to expend. Couple of issues I have one question on APPNA New York House, every year money giving to them. As every other house, we have a PPS house and we have financed ourselves, supported ourselves, and I feel that we have been paying to APPNA House since many years, I don't know how many. I think that needs to be stopped and given a responsibility to the chapter or whoever wants to take the responsibility. And one last item that I did not hear, nice presentation, but I want to see what APPNA is thinking, how we're going to come up with a new revenue source.
Okay.
I think that will be something that I
Let
like.
me answer that New York APPNA House. First, I would like to congratulate the PPS Chicago chapter to take it over, and they have done a marvelous job. They have completely paid APPNA, and we have been talking to the New York chapter as well to get the same thing done. So hopefully, and then I will let Lubna.
Dr. Imtaz, this is the question. What is our income source? So for now, historically, our income source is meetings, and funds, particularly for the projects, and the scholarship and the lifetime goes to the restricted funds. This is historically, that has been happening over years and years and years. So the second part of my, actually the third part of my presentation was what the future might hold for us. So the current model of income source, where we are at and what the future might hold for us. Currently, more than 2/3 of the income source comes from the local meetings and international trips. We already know about that. Profits from the meetings mostly cover the operational costs. So this is, for now, this is what it is. We're gonna work harder on these meetings to make more money so that we are able to make up for all those expenses that I just, mentioned. And the mission and the objectives of the meetings are that of a mixer, sponsored by a circle of friends to provide an opportunity to develop friendship, possible networking, and be entertained. And that's where most of the attendance is. And the other of the spectrum, a dismal, less than 1/3 of the income comes from the membership. This is what our future needs to be. This mirrors that the organization is not member-driven or member-responsive. The majority of the income should be from the membership, so that APPNA remains first and foremost responsive to its members.
Lubna, thank you. Let's just get a question. Thank you.
I wanted to alleviate Lubna's some anxiety by saying that it has always been the case for the last 25 years. we have never been able to run the office expenses by membership dues alone.
I know.
We always have run it based on the meeting income, so it's nothing new. The second point is, every now and then, every president for the last 20 years, we have a sale on life membership. You can't have it both ways. When you're recruiting for life member, let me finish. You can have life members, but those funds become automatically restricted funds. They're not going to be used in operation. You can't have it both ways. You're pushing for lifetime dues, which is okay. You're giving them a break and some sale, like you pay less. So you're pushing for that.
This was not what I meant.
No, let me finish.
We're not
So,
gonna have the mic.
when you're having a lifetime dues, they get out of circulation because restricted dues. So you cannot have both. You
Okay.
can either have yearly dues and be able to spend them,
Yep.
or have lifetime dues.
Thank you, Dr. Akhtar.
But one more last, this is very important.
I got 15 minutes to finish the meeting,
The
Dr.
thing
Akhtar.
is, it's not fair to the committee to have them approve a budget. You should have a 2017 budget in one line, so this is what was spent last year. And this is the proposed income for this year, and this is the proposed expense.
Correct.
Only then we have a comparison.
That,
They can't
that, we
approve
have
it.
that. We have that, Dr. Akhtar. We have that. Dr. Nadeem Kazi.
Thank you very much. Two things. First of all, a question, how much do we pay for the audit of APPNA Foundation? This is a very important question. And how much do we pay for audit from APPNA? Then I will ask you second.
Right, the, I think off the top of my
Approximately
head.
18,000 each.
Right,
I will tell
right.
you the answer. I know the answer.
The-
For people,
why did he ask?
18,000 each. I don't understand, and I always argue about the APPNA Foundation. Our lifetime dues is our foundation. That's a restricted account. And why we have two different accounts and pay 18,000 each when we can merge them together? And the second thing that I want you to think about it, and we did approve during our budget time, that from lifetime dues, that year of income, you can use for the office management. It's been passed several times. It's in our bylaws. So why we don't see this on our budget thing that we have to put that?
Thank you, thank you.
Okay,
Dr.
I would like to finish my
Name.
report
Please just
quickly,
get the
and
motion.
then I will take the questions or, later on.
So-
It's just 2 minutes left, so, people need to know where we are going.
The-
So, what I was talking about, the members, and, you asked, it's been in the past, we've been there, like membership dues go to, the restricted funds, and we're in the same situation, meeting gains and whatever. So this is something that I was thinking about. I hope that I can share that with you. So the valued benefits fee for service program for APPNA members. We need more APPNA members. Unless and until we address their needs, we are not gonna be able to attract our members. So my recommendations were, have an APPNA classified publication portal, just like other New England Journal of Medicine, somebody wants to relocate or somebody wants to start up a practice, sell equipment or whatnot. APPNA should have that kind of a classified, that's a source of income. A career center as a source for physician job opportunities, J1, H1, a lot of Pakistani physicians, they are J1, H1. We could just provide that service to them. For staff openings, search products and services, and buy or sell your practice or equipment. We must outreach the large groups emphasizing physician services and support that our physician
Dr. Nadeem, we have 2
organizations
minutes because I have to finish the meeting.
provide
Okay?
individual
Thank you.
members. Then benefits that streamline the workflow. We are all physicians here, and we need to think like physicians. We need to be able to alleviate the care that they provide so that they can offer the best care. Electronic health record tools, a comparison guide, to offer help with the insurance accreditation, especially to the ones who just started practice. This is the young physicians. So we need to start thinking about the young physicians. And these are we have to provide value benefits to our members. Now, the bottom line is there need to be a member-driven provision of services to accomplish our mission of APPNA's financial stability and growth. The second part of my presentation was asset allocation. This is something very important, but before that, Dr. Zahar Hamid, we want to take the vote on that.
Okay, so please, someone please, you have already presented the motion to approve this budget for 2018. I had the second from Dr. Mustaq Sheikh. Dr. Kazi, this is the budget, sir. These are the income projection, these are the expense projection, and this is how we are gonna move forward, sir. If you don't want to, I will have to call a specific council meeting later sometimes from between now to summer, and we will be working without a budget. So if we have a budget, we are not spending anything more than what you're saying, we are working on it. So there is a motion on the floor. I would like to ask my people to please vote on that. Huh? For the budget approval? Can I have can I have Dr. Mahmood Alam to please, my parliamentarian, to comment on that?
The question is that budget is not ready.
The budget is ready in our opinion. I don't know why.
It's ready. This is how it's always presented.
You should give your huh? Can we?
I see the budget there. Right there.
We can just read it. Just read it.
You want to read,
Can you just ask to approve the operational budget, okay? And the wish list, we're gonna keep it on the side. Just say that, can you approve, can you pass a motion?
That's fine, can you pass?
Let him make the motion. Let Dr. Saji Chaudhary make the motion.
I make the motion to approve the operational budget at this time, and the wish list can be done later on.
Second by Dr. Naeem. Any, yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Any nays? 14. Any nays? 15, 16, 17, and 18. 18 vote, 19. I got them. 19, yay. Any nays? Okay, thank you so very much, Dr. Lubna. 7 minutes, and I want to discuss a very important thing. I would like to, I'm sorry that I'm going without it, but APPNA has this year really have been thinking about out of box. And one of the things which you have been hearing about is APPNA University. This is again a wish list here, a dream may come true. But I have a person here. Mr. Kamar Zaman is here from Atlanta just for this reason. I wanted to introduce him to the council. Is Mr. Kamar Zaman sitting here?
Could you join us?
Can you please join me on the podium here? Now, ladies and gentlemen,
Actually, I'm not able. We used to come to APPNA. Function, sometimes we have the food, sometimes, as you know. Well, we went back, and every year we noticed that, there's a lot more to it than just having a dinner and get together with friends. And there's nothing to show for. The future generations, what they're gonna think of, the reason you are not getting membership, because we are not reaching to the new generation who are here. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we, like Dr. Naeem mentioned, that we need to present to the new generation some benefits. What are the benefits? So if we think out of the box, like the president said, what about APPNA School of Medicine in the United States? I know we all help schools and institutions in Pakistan. And for the future generations, by the way, they're not gonna go there. I mean, we'll go there once a year, 2 years, 3 years. Eventually, the new generation, they were born and raised here, they're gonna stay here. The Jewish folks have a Temple University, Brandeis University. The Catholics have Notre Dame and whatnot and so forth. Why not APPNA? This is the most organized and well-financed organization. And we should set up a school of medicine in this country. It will do two things. It will help our community. It also will help the country we have made good in. So 2014, I've been saying this for the last 10 years, so didn't get the opportunity to bring this to their attention, to the APPNA's attention until Asif Rahman was the president. And he gave me he said, I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes. You present your case. And I made the case. I said, if you formalize a school of medicine in this country, my wife and I will donate $1 million to start out.
Okay.
And so we need about 100 to 200 APPNA members to come up with some numbers. And we will be in the forefront to donate the funds. And if God willing, we will even donate more. I'm a businessman, my wife is a physician, like I said, my son is an orthopedic surgeon, and my daughter-in-law is a physician at Emory. And we will be the members, we will be beating the drums to get this thing off the ground. And we did a lot of homework. Dr. Mushtaq was with us 4 or 5 years ago. We found out there were 5 different states do not have medical schools. We went to them, Montana was receptive to have a school. Again, let's start it, let's formalize it, and we will certainly implement the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Qamar Zaman. I could not thank you enough and your family to be a part of this thing. The time is almost finishing now.
Mr. Qamar Zaman has been part of Committee on Institutions of Higher Learning and Medical Education and has given a lot of insight and foresight into, and he's been building commissioner and half of the Chicago is built by him. He's based out of Atlanta. I know, but that was your previous home. So now he's in Atlanta and he is shipping Atlanta in many ways. But we need to have these resources, these people who are very close to us, who has been part of our APPNA community at large. These are the resources that we have to tap into. APPNA University, we have to go in that direction. We have worked on it quite a bit. We have identified a couple of places where we can house this thing. You heard from Mr. Lawari, and he is already educationist is on board, who can take it further from that point of view. Where we need to fund and how do we fund and how do we go further with that is extremely important, because as you saw the budget, as you saw the finances of APPNA, this organization has to move away and start generating income from healthcare and from educational endeavors. That is where we can grow from our charter. We cannot grow from meetings more revenue. More revenue will be, we have mastered the art of making money from meetings and international trips, but there is a limit to that. You have to diversify. You have to put your energy and effort into this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sohail Khan. Basically, the time is over almost. If Dr. Imtiaz Aran, the chair of BOT, is here, I really apologize that I've not been able to even give time to the chair of BOT. The past president and the president's report, we have not done that. But I think the meeting was very successful. Dr. Kamran Rao, we will have all these people in the summer. They will have all the rest of the things are already done for the year. Doctor? Huh? Okay, there are few things I want to just tell. The last year council meeting, it was decided, the council has approved it, that half of the fixed asset will be moved to another big company. Our treasurer, Dr. Lubna Naeem, is working on it. As soon as she has worked with that, she will let us know that when she has done all the homework, we will let you guys know, but it was already decided by the council. Dr. Sajid Chaudhary wants to make a comment. Hold on a second.
That's okay to skip the report. I think a lot of things are achieved. Just a quick update regarding the APPNA free mobile clinics. 4 units APPNA committed, 2 have already been inaugurated, and the third one is being purchased, and fourth one is in process. So they will be placed in all 4 corners of the country, and they will be utilized by the chapters for the free clinic as well as disaster. Another update regarding the APPNA food pantry program. I really appreciate Dr. Zafar Hamid, his support, Dr. Naseeb Shakhani's initiative. $10,000 from last year has been transferred to that program, and actually we saved $7,700 from the publication APPNA journal, and that will be put into that money account also, and that program will be continued. So I'm really thankful to Dr. Iqbal Zafar for continuing all the projects that we started last year, and inshallah will continue year after year. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Couple of things. I know Alliance President Dr. Hanadi Nadeem is here. Let me just tell you from as a representative of my executive committee, that executive committee talks to the president of any component societies. The rest of the issues between them, the cable, the BOT and everything, that is their internal issue. The APPNA will recognize and correspond to the president of that component society. So I'm just going to welcome Dr. Hanadi Nadeem for 30 seconds so that she can tell about the project. Just 30 seconds you have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zafar. कोई गम ना हो, कोई दुख ना हो, कोई आंख कभी पुरनाम ना हो, कोई दिल किसी का तोड़े ना, कोई साथ किसी का छोड़े ना, बस प्यार की नदियां बहती हों, काश की दुनिया ऐसी हो. But life is not so simple. Life is not so easy. This world is full of poverty, hardship, and suffering. So this year, APPNA Alliance has decided to make a change, to bring a change, and to contribute a lot to the goodness of humanity. And for this, we have undertaken many projects, and one of these projects is mobile health clinic for the villages of Pakistan in collaboration with APPNA.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Because we all know that the health condition in Pakistan that is very poor, and also we are planning to provide free food to the homeless people in USA, because we know that there are many people, homeless people in different cities like Chicago, Las Vegas, Philadelphia, Los Angeles. So we are going to do a lot of good projects this year, but we need your help and we need your contribution. Thank you so much.
Dr. Sohail Khan, you can finish it. And
yes, just a few things. Ethics and grievance you already heard. Ad hoc committee, Kaleem Sayyed is here. Sorry that we have not had time to listen to all the details. Advocacy committee, Dr. Ram Kamran. Committee on Young Physicians, Majid Aziz. And the reason why I'm saying all these names, these are part of the agenda. Because of time, we are not able to. But I don't see many action items there, but their reports are to be presented to you, and we can send them electronically to the council. They are all available in the folders. Please look at them. A lot of hard work has been done by each and individual committee.
On the website too.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
a very important committee, implementation committee. Dr. Nadeem Qazi is here.
We
will give his comments.
We had a meeting a few weeks ago, and there were two items that we need answer to discuss and vote upon. So are we going to have meeting tomorrow morning, or can we schedule a teleconference later this month? Because this is very important.
This is an implementation committee. Dr. Nadeem Qazi is the chair. I believe that in about the next 20 to 30 days, we will call a one agenda council meeting and we can discuss the implementation committee at that time. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, before I do that, ad hoc membership benefits, Manzoor Tariq, he has already appointed someone else, and we'll get those on the way to you, the information. Ad hoc committee on academics and research, Shahid Rafiq. Chilmi, we're gonna table it, and we already talked about the university. Risa, Saqib Mansoor, Merit, Babar Rao, APPNA telemedicine, Dr. Naeed Usmani has been sitting here patiently for her turn. Sorry that we ran out of time. Hepatitis C initiative, Dr. Arif Muslim, Bilal Hamid, and Samit Shafi. Media and communication, Nasser Qureshi, international meeting, Aftab Ahmed. Summer meeting, Dawood Nasir. Fall meeting, Tariq Shah. Global Healthcare Summit, Dr. Hamidi. we will get more information
Dr. Singh,
from them.
before people leave, we're gonna have the extended finance committee meeting with our council members. It's gonna be a teleconference within 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Nomination and Election Committee, Dr. Ruaza Afridi. She's not here, but anyway, making it short, I would request for adjournment for the meeting. Do I have a motion? Yes.
Can we have a second to adjourn the meeting? Dr. Mukhtar Sheikh, all yes. Everyone unanimous decision. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience and for your input.
Upload the right one. Actually, that was the message.
Yeah. Yeah.
So आपके पास है ना कुछ?
Yeah.
जब वो upload पे करे ना reports.
Yeah.
So upload that.
So you're gonna upload the report, right?
They're all on the website already.
Which because the one you
I
gave
think
me is
that was the message for the spring journal. Okay. The report was the different that
It's in the governance part of the spring
We are going to
meeting.
the sixth
So
floor
we need to change
office
it.
के अंदर वो council के साथ 10 मिनट की हम अपडेट की
Spring
last
can
time
end anyway, so.
यही है ना, this is where this is right, that
It's
our
on the
offices
6th floor, yeah, it's around Great
उसको
Harris.
change कर 10 मिनट
मुझे नहीं मालूम मतलब ज़्यादा प्रिंटिंग
मुझे सुबह जैसे टेक्स्ट आया कि मैंने कर दी मैं क्या अच्छा दैट वाज सो
नहीं क्योंकि मैं जा रहा था मैंने कहा जनरल हम दिन प्रिंट करते कहा कि नहीं करो मैंने कर दी वो तो है मेरे पास
उसको तो मैं भेजी नहीं थी मुझे पता था कि शी सो बिजी नहीं होगी मैं इसलिए मैंने आपसे जब आती ना मैंने कहा अच्छा
मुझे नहीं मालूम मैं जा रहा था प्रिंट करने
क्या लगा कोई डजंट मेक डिफरेंस लेकिन कोई जब रिकॉर्ड के लिए वेबसाइट पे करेंगे
मैं कर दूँ I'll do that